Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome. Today is Wednesday. It's August 10th, 2022. My name is Jeremy, and this is my first cup. Actually cooled off a little bit last night. 60 degrees outside, which means I slept well. It means that the windows are open, and I'm much happier than when it was hot and humid. Good morning, Brian. Good morning, Stacy. Stacy, that's funny. I didn't realize that. Apparently, my message was a little too long, and it might have been a bit suggestive. That was not my intention, for once. Well, we made it through Tuesday. It is Wednesday. I want to know how your Tuesday went. I want you to let me know. What did you do? How'd you do it? What did I do? Oh, that's what I did. Had a great conversation with Justin about Free Training Day Atlanta. How many of you are going to be at Free Training Day Atlanta? Am I going to see any of you there? I know that there are some people who pop in from time to time for whom it is a shorter trip than the other two options. So I'm hopeful. I'd like to see some of you guys there. It's a first year event, and I want to help Justin get it off the ground. Stacy met Josh and family. You met Josh before I did, man. Good morning, Jenny. Jenny said she's in listen-only mode as she has her quarterly blood work today. And Dennis says, let's make it a wacky Wednesday. Woo! All right. So after I did that, I went and I did some IT work for a client, which I had booked off all day. I'd expected it to take all day. But here's the thing. And this is going to sound a little arrogant, but I don't know how else to say this. I forget how good I am. And I forget that I've done this hundreds, if not thousands of times, setting up new computers and getting things moved over from old computers. But it's also a client that I've worked with for years. So I've got them set up in the way they need to be set up, even though I don't do a lot of work for them. And I've got really good notes, so I don't have to ask them for anything anymore. And I show up and they say, all right, we decided we didn't want to do two computers. We want three. Here's a stack of computers. Okay. So I just set them up next to each other and sat there and went and was done in a little over 2 hours. All in, it was about 3 hours. That was it for three computers. Set up from scratch, moved all their information. And they were set up better than the ones they were replacing because there were things they told me, oh, we can't scan to this computer. Oh, okay. They're like, wait a second, that's it? And I said, all right, what did I miss? And they're all looking at them. They're like, you didn't miss anything. I was like, come on, I missed something. I'm not that good. They're like, no, you're that good. I'm like, I don't know. Well, you know how to reach me when you find something. Yes, Stacy says Josh Blum, constructor of the theme song for First Cup. Stacy's closer to where he is, but he's checking out today. He's moving your way to you. Yes, he is. He'll be right over there. He'll be 15 to 20 minutes away. So we've got some plans. And then after I was done with that, Andrew and I had a long call about Free Training Day Northeast, talked about the podcast a little bit, and just really dialed a bunch of stuff in. And I was going to go to the gym, and I was just exhausted. I'm still exhausted. I need some time. I took a look at going back to Belize in December for, I don't know, a month, because it's not that expensive. And I may do that. So we'll see. The challenge was, anybody else feel this way? Planning vacations is stressful. And if you're not in the right frame of mind, trying to plan the vacation is exhausting. And that's kind of where I was yesterday. But I did figure out some things with airlines and everything, because when I came back last time, I had an 8-hour layover, and I don't want to do that again. Brian says yesterday he worked from home, working from home today. Hey, me too. So my daughter isn't home alone. After work yesterday, we went to Burlington for a set of harder to find Volkswagen wheels for the GTI, changing up the look a little. Bought them for what I sold my Beetle wheels for. So that's nice. Cool. Nice trade. Good morning, John. And Stacy says, because Belize, Vermont winters unless you're a skier. Tough choice. Well, what I may do, I may be there for the month of December, because I don't know if I'm going to. Typically, I like to go away in February because it kind of splits the Vermont winter, but I don't know if I'm going to make it to February. I am so fried. Today, what am I doing? I got the books, driving out to meet a client, kind of an interesting situation. A lot of you don't know the depths to which I go to help and support my clients, but the short of it is I have this client and she's hiring someone, and it's a done deal. It's a distant familial relative, and we've talked about the implications of that. But this person doesn't live around here and will be working remotely. But this person is here. It's her niece. And she wants me to work with her. I've done some kind of coaching calls for her employees in the past, and she wants me to do that. So I was like, all right, I'd like to meet this person before we get into this. Not because I'm going to say no, but because, as we all know, as we're kind of talking about here, it's always better if you can meet someone face to face before you're doing all the virtual stuff. Dennis says, I like cheese. Dennis is in a silly mood this morning, even more so than normal. Brian says, oh, and Cassidy was doing her form in the front seat while riding. That's awesome. Frank wants me to come to Cincinnati to see him and his dog, Scooby. Scooby is the assistant producer for this show. That's true. Well, I think you all, I will reiterate, because I don't know that everyone knows this. To me, vacation is go away, get away, and that includes as much as possible. And honestly, that includes people. I need to be places where I can shed as many of the elements of my life as possible, which means being around even my friends. I have found that the best vacations for me are when I'm solo. So, not a dismissal, Frank, but I'm gonna go hide where it's warm. I love this. Stacy says, I'm happy to report Josh is a person and not a Zoom square. That's funny. And it says, wait, we don't know the depths you go to help your clients with the way you give your heart and soul and everything you do. I believe we have an inkling. Well, thank you. I appreciate that, my friend. I mentioned free training day. Let me mention the others. So free training day, Portland. I know we have at least one person claiming they are flying out to that one, October 22nd in Portland, Oregon. And then free training day, Northeast. Andrew and I started setting things for the agenda. And depending on who you are and what things you are participating in, you may have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different things that you are participating in over the weekend. Free training day, of course, being the core. But we are going to put out a schedule soon that is going to make a splash, and you're going to look at it and go, holy cow. Yeah. Book 2 nights a room. Plan to get there Friday, Saturday, and most of you will be okay leaving Sunday. Some of you will want to stick around for the day. More to come. because I like the dramatic reveal. I'm not telling you yet. Some of you know. Stacy says, "Wee, free training days." That's it. All right. So we talked about yesterday. We talked about today. Yesterday we talked about solo training drills. Let's talk about partner work. If you have the opportunity to train with a partner and you're dictating what's going on, let's say it's not in a class environment. It's not a class environment. It's just you doing your own thing with this other person. You two of you can dictate what you do. What are your favorite drills? Now, I suspect you all know what my favorite work to do is in that context, but I would love to know what you all like to do. So I'll give you a minute, and then I'll chime in and tell you what I like to do at those times. So most of you who are watching, at least from what I can tell, have participated in at least one of the seminars where I've taught what I collectively refer to as slow drills. As a fun aside, I'm reworking the title on that from the magic of slow to think faster. Because calling it the magic of slow, it sounds boring. It really does. And it's not boring. It's a lot of fun. But when I get the chance to work one-on-one with someone and we can just strip away speed and power and sometimes certain limbs and certain techniques and just kind of flow, it's my favorite thing in the world. It's so much fun and it's so beneficial. How beneficial? It's beneficial enough that the last time I sparred at speed, this was what, 2 weeks ago at Taekwondo? I was doing a better job keeping my eyes open when punches came to my face, and I was able to block them. Something I've always struggled with. Now, why was I better at that? Because I've spent time doing that slowly. It's the only thing I've done that could possibly explain that. It allowed my brain to sync up and realize, hey, when you don't close your eyes, you can see what's going on, and you are fast enough to respond to it. Did I get them all? No. Was I perfectly comfortable being punched at, having my eyes open while people were punching at my face? Of course not. But I was better. And that's why I like doing that work. Good morning, Andy. Nobody's chiming in. Well, you guys are boring sometimes. It's okay. We can end early. I don't mind. I'll take a nap. I feel like there was something else I was going to mention. Oh, I will mention this. We've got 5 days left for nominations for the Never Settle Awards. If you missed all of that messaging, you can go to whistlekick.com, go to the individuals tab towards the bottom of that drop-down menu, Never Settle Awards. Please nominate people. We've been getting a ton of nominations, but we want to see more nominations because this is how we grow this thing that we're really excited about. And you can likely connect some dots and know what some of the next steps are. And I'm excited for those next steps. Dennis says, limitation sparring drills all day, similar to Magic of Slow, working on specific techniques and combos back and forth at half speed and half power, graduating to full sparring also at half speed, half power. Too many choices leads to an inability to make decisions. Happens in sparring, it happens in life. How exhausting is it to decide what to make for dinner? How much easier is it when you have two or three choices? This is why I think people like meal kits. I can make one of these four things. The ingredients are right here. The ingredients for most of what you're going to make are in your fridge or pantry or whatever anyway. But you have an infinite number of choices. Somebody gives you a recipe and says, make this. Okay. You don't have to spend the emotional energy to make the decision. Decision-making energy is a real thing. There's a lot there. And Frank says, how is the bird situation? The bird situation is over. I'm ready to take down the other two trash bags on my window. It's been, what, a month? 3 weeks since I took one of the trash bags down? Because I took it down, then I had to put it back up, and now it's gone. And I'm not sure, and I'm hopeful that this is not correlated. The bird feeder ran out of bird seed, and I had to buy more. And it took a little bit of time for me to fill it back up again. But I'm hopeful that it wasn't the fact that the bird feeder ran out, that bird ran away, and now that there is seed back in there, that it will eventually find its way back. So, fingers crossed. Oh, cool. Kelly says, I've incorporated slow moving in a couple of new drills I've created, one called the gauntlet and reverse 3 steps squared. I would love to know more about what this 3 steps squared are. I can envision what a bit of that gauntlet is. Other partner work that you can do that I think is really effective has to do with forms. Most people, when they do forms together, one person knows it better, the other person knows it less, right? And the person who knows it less is generally looking at the person who knows it better to see what they're doing. The person that knows it, the orientation for those two people doesn't have to be side by side. Could be front to back. Could be 45-degree angle. And I know that that sounds trivial, but if you're the person trying to pull as much as you can from the form, from the person who knows it better, the more angles you have, the more you're going to see. There's also a lot of value in not doing the whole form at once, doing pieces of it. I've got this idea for a form that I'll share the roots of it. This is kind of something that I think about. Do you all know what drift racing is? When you have at least two cars and they've got very slippery tires and they're going around a track and they're trying to stay close to each other. It's really cool to watch. I've envisioned something kind of like that with forms. Not that you're trying to make people mess up, but that you're fairly close. If I've got someone standing a foot in front of me, how do I do my form while they're doing the same form? What would that look like? I think that's kind of neat. What if you had to remain behind them the entire time? So maybe you start there on your left, they step out to the left, you go left, and they turn and you have to drift behind them when they go right. It would get messy. I don't know that it would be fun, but I think there's something in there. I think there's an education in there. Dennis says, yes, I actually know what drift racing is. If you've never seen drift racing, look it up. It's nuts. It's not something I have any desire to do. But it's cool stuff. I think we're coming to the end here. there aren't as many of you this morning as there often are, and you're not as talkative as you often are, and that's okay. Remember when we started the show, it was meant to be like 10 minutes. It was just kind of a check-in, but it's grown because you all started talking more, and that's great. But it doesn't mean we have to run a full 30 minutes. So I'm going to start to wind down here. I appreciate you coming by. I hope you have a great day. I'm going to read Kelly's description here in a moment. I hope that if you have thoughts or feedback or things, that you will share them with me. You can post them on the Facebook group for First Cup. You can email me, jeremy@whistlekick.com. Remember, we do have an episode of Martial Arts Radio coming out tomorrow. Frank, the conversation has gone adrift. Good morning, Mark. Frank, always with the topical humor, which I appreciate. And remember, if you want to support us, we've got the code First Cup 15 to save 15% at whistlekick.com. Oh, by the way, logos are theoretically done. I've got to make some modifications because we're doing slightly different logos for all 3 events for free training day. You'll be able to order those soon. And we've got the Patreon, patreon.com/whistlekick. I announced the date and time of our first Patreon exclusive hangout. If you are a Patreon member, you should have gotten a notification on that. If not, log into Patreon because I hope to see you all there. We're going to have fun. It's going to be quite different from what we normally do with any of our shows. It's going to be much more give and take than me leading things. And of course, if you want the whole list, it's the family page, whistlekick.com/family. Come on, switch to comments. There we go. Kelly says, normal 3 steps. The attacker attacks forward with 3 techniques, and the defender backs up 3 times. In reverse 3 steps, one partner steps forward 3 times, and the defender has to attack moving backwards. Ooh, I like that. 3 steps squared. Both people are attacking or defending at the same time. Just one is moving forward and the other moving backwards, but both are doing moves. Cool. You know, and when I 3-step sparring, 1-step sparring does get a bit of flack from a lot of people, especially those who criticize forums as being useless. I think one of the best implementations of this format is to do the sorts of things that Kelly's talking about, to apply different parameters, to take things away, to put things in. If you find that your students are not doing a good job with a certain technique, make them do 3 steps or 1 steps with it. Make them spar with that technique. Give them 2 techniques. You know, if you find nobody's doing a good job with side kicks, okay, you can throw side kicks and give them something else that if they're having a hard time with rotation, give them side kicks and hook punches. Right? I'll figure it out. All right, time to go. I'm gonna go drink more coffee. I hope you have a great day, and I hope to see you back here tomorrow. Thanks, everybody. See ya. Peace.